Pacheco sidesteps a tackle, cuts 15, 10, 5, freaking touchdown, dude! Blown up, fumble, pitch back to Brian Cook, and Brian Cook's gonna freaking house it, dude! He's gonna house it! Oh my God! He's got plenty of time, fires, back in the end zone, touchdown! Bro, what the frick did I just watch? And this is why you don't doubt Patrick Mahomes. He's gonna waltz in, untouched, touchdown, Kansas City, let's go, baby! What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday night Q&A Hangout. I'm not gonna lie, after the intro just rolled, I almost hit the finish button, and that would have ended the stream. I don't know what I was thinking. I got scared for a half second. That would have been the worst mistake I think I've ever made on a live stream ever. That would have been insane. But I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. I went live earlier today, talked about a bunch of roster moves that the Chiefs made. They signed a couple people to the practice squad, familiar faces. Quarterback Chris Oladokun, wide receiver Cornell Powell, because Bailey Zappi, who was on the practice squad, is now signed to the active roster of the Cleveland Browns. And then the Chiefs brought up cornerback Keith Taylor because they placed cornerback Jalen Watson on IR. He has a broken fibula and tibia near his ankle. It's like right there on the ankle. Some say a broken ankle. Some are saying broken fibula, tibia / ankle. So Jalen Watson moved to IR. Keith Taylor moved from the practice squad to the active roster. Then you had Chris Oladokun, because Bailey Zappi's gone, added to the practice squad. Then you had wide receiver Cornell Powell added to the practice squad. And I think that's really just because of wide receiver injuries. Juju Smith-Schuster, Rice obviously recently placed on IR. And I also think that could be because the Chiefs are either going to move one of the other wide receivers from the practice squad, so elevate them to the active roster, or you'll at least see them on game day. And Cornell Powell was kind of a no-brainer signing. So was Chris Oladokun. They both know the system pretty well. We'll see about this Sunday against the Raiders. It's Raiders week. The Raiders are not playing well right now. I just was listening to a couple of Raiders podcasts. Raiders fans are not happy. They want their offensive coordinator fired. They don't even know. Some of them don't even know if they want Antonio Pierce to return next year. You got no Devontae Adams. Jacoby Myers has been injured. They've got some injuries on defense, even though the defense is playing well. We'll talk more about the Raiders in a minute, but just side noted there about the Raiders, because you might see either Montrell Washington, Justin Ross, or Nico Remigio called up in this game. Again, you only have Xavier Worthy, talking healthy receivers on the roster right now. Xavier Worthy, Justin Watson, McCole Hardman, and Sky Moore. Somebody said in the comments on Twitter when I said that, well, yeah, but they also have Travis Kelce, Jared Wiley, Jody Fortson, and Noah Gray. Okay, dude, I'm specifically talking about the wide receiver room, and you basically only have 3 wide receivers on the active roster if you do not count Sky Moore, which some people legitimately do not count as a receiver on the roster right now, even though he's doing some blocking here or there. He's just not catching the ball. That's what you're paid to do. That's half of your job. So you've got to do something in the wide receiver room, even if it's just elevating somebody from the practice squad. That's a whole side, or like, that's not even including a wide receiver trade that could happen here soon. Maybe that happens as well. We could talk about that today, but yeah, the wide receiver room needs some help. You know what I mean? And that's why they were making some of these roster moves. I think you'll have somebody move up this Sunday. Who it is, I don't know. Maybe Justin Ross, maybe Nico. I really have no idea. They are the ones talking about the coaching staff. The Chiefs coaching staff are the ones monitoring and watching and still grading all these guys, even in the scout team looks and the practice squad, all the practices and stuff like that. So we'll see. Maybe it's Nico or Montrell Washington if McCole Hardman gets a bigger role in the offense. I feel like he's earned one just over his performance from the last 2 games. Had over 100 yards from scrimmage last week in the 49ers game, and then the week before he had 4 catches on 4 targets. They were all quick passes, but still, you're ramping up McCole Hardman into the offense. Maybe because of that, you take his return duties away. I'm not saying they will, but that's an option. And then you have Montrell Washington or Nico Remigio do that instead. We'll see. But I'd love to get your thoughts. I don't want to ramble too long here because this is a Q&A. It's time to hang out, and I rambled earlier during my live stream when all the roster moves got announced. But I hope you guys are doing fantastic. 400 and 30 of you in chat. Jennifer, thanks so much for the 5-bomb. Reaps with the 5-bomb as well. I'll be flying out to Vegas this week with my dad and brothers. We got free tickets. Super hyped. Come on, dude. That is sick. Dude, Arrowhead West, you're going to enjoy that game. Caleb said, hey, Cole, I saw this thing on X. It said the Rams are open to trading Cooper Kupp. Cap hit is $29.7 million this year. I don't think his cap hit's that high this year. I could go back and look. Spot shared a little bit about Cooper Kupp as well. Do I think a Cooper Kupp trade is likely? No. Not for a second-round pick that they're reportedly wanting. Here's Kupp's contract for 2024. $9.1 million guaranteed based on the remainder of the season. And then 2025 is $20 million, $19.85 million. My reservations about Cooper Kupp, he's 31. He's missed 16 games over the last 3 seasons. That's a full season missed over the last 3. He's also missed 4 games this year. Could play this week. He's been dealing with an ankle. I just feel like if you can't get a second-round pick out of Devontae Adams, who played 17 games in 2022, 17 games in 2023. He missed 3 games or 2 games this season, whatever it was, with a hamstring injury that magically healed and repaired fully when he got traded to the Jets. If you can't get a second-round pick out of Devontae, I understand it's potentially a second-round pick. It's a third-round pick that becomes a second if he's on the active roster with the Jets for the AFC Championship game or Super Bowl, or he gets first or second team All-Pro. It's basically a third-round pick. You can't get a second-round pick out of Devontae Adams. I don't see how you're going to get a second-round pick out of Cooper Kupp. Maybe that's just me. But if the Chiefs want to trade for him, I'm not opposed to it by any means. I just think a second-round pick is a little steep, in my opinion. Would love to hear your thoughts on that, though. Swami with the 5. Want to give flowers to Nick Bolton. He's been playing amazing. I'm sad he's probably walking in free agency. Yeah, we'll see. He has been playing well. I have never been super down on Nick Bolton. I thought he plays his role really well. Spags trusts him. He's the Mike linebacker, right? Organizing his guys back there. And he has had some really fantastic games this year, specifically against the run. I mean, they have gone against some really tough opponents in the run game, like opponents that have really good running backs. Derrick Henry, Bijan Robinson, J.K. Dobbins. Those are just a few. I mean, last week they were up against the 49ers, Jordan Mason, second most rushing yards in the NFL, only behind Derrick Henry. The 49ers averaged the 3rd most rushing yards per game, and the Chiefs stifled them. They've been doing it week in and week out. Their run defense is absolutely elite, and Nick Bolton is playing a part in that. He's had multiple plays that have just straight up impacted in huge ways the opposing offense's ability to move the chains easily. So helping set up on a first or second down a run that goes for a loss of 2 or 3. I mean, that's huge. Nick Bolton also had the game sealing tackle on, I think it was Bijan Robinson. I believe that's who it was in the Falcons game. So yeah, man, much respect to Nick Bolton. Will he walk in free agency? I guess we'll see. I mean, he's slated to be a free agent. You can't pay everybody if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, and there are some priorities there. It's like, well, do you let Trey Smith walk? You've got Nick Bolton to worry about as well. I think Justin Reed is on the last year of his deal. You got a bunch of receivers on a 1-year deal, or on the last year of their deal, including Hollywood, including Juju, Justin Watson, McColl. I'm not saying bring all those guys back, but I'm just saying there's a lot of decisions to make there. Joe Tooney's cap hit is massive as well. Do you let Joe Tooney stay? And then try to get a deal done with Trey Smith? I don't know that you can keep both Joe Tooney and Trey Smith. I think there's an out in Tooney's contract. I don't know that you can do it both. But then you've got all the draft picks. Think of all the draft picks, guys, from the 2022 NFL draft. You can start chatting with these guys about extensions. And there's a lot of people. Brian Cook, Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson, who is out on IR. Hope he heals up and gets well soon. Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, Leo Chanel, Isaiah Pacheco, Sky Moore. He's walking. But like, there's a bunch of guys to talk about, to think about as far as contracts go and extensions. Obviously, they can all play next year. I think that would be the last year of their rookie deal. But I'm glad I'm not Brett Veach, because there's a lot to think through and process through. That's for sure. Rob Miller with the 2 bomb said, Cole, Justin Tucker it.
There's still some of those ghosts of Justin Tucker banging a 60-year-old 60-yard field goal over off the crossbar and through to beat.
Old Justin Tucker took place in an incredible Ravens win last night. I don't know if you guys watched that game. It was Ravens against the Bucks. The Bucks are completely decimated by injuries right now in the wide receiver room. They lost Chris Godwin for the season. They lost Mike Evans until maybe week 11, week 12 with a re-aggravated or further aggravated hamstring. But the Ravens look really good, man. Lamar Jackson, probably MVP favorite right now. Derrick Henry has been balling out. Yeah, they look really good, man. Zay Flowers got banged up. I'd be curious to know how he's doing. But yeah, did you see Arrowhead Pride said they have the formula? Oh, AP. Antonio Pierce. Sorry, AP. I'm like Arrowhead Pride. Antonio Pierce said they have the formula to defeat the Chiefs. I mean, maybe he's not wrong in the sense of like they had a formula that worked last Christmas. That was the Chiefs' last loss, was against the Raiders on Christmas. And yeah, it was a bad loss. It woke the Chiefs up, and they've gone undefeated since and won the Super Bowl. It took the Chiefs having back-to-back turnovers, a scoop and score on a failed trick play, and then a pick six the very next play for the Chiefs. That Jack Jones, that little Grinch, housed it. They weren't great. The Raiders weren't great. They capitalized on a couple of those plays, and that was 2 defensive touchdowns, right? But like offensively, they weren't great. Aiden O'Connell was awful. He didn't throw a completed pass out, I don't think, outside of the first or second quarter. Like, they weren't good, but they played good enough and capitalized on the turnovers that they weren't just turnovers. They were defensive touchdowns. Scoop and score, pick six. That's 14 points for the defense. Hard to overcome with the Chiefs and their rather anemic offense at times last year. They were in a pretty bad slump at that point in time as well. So yeah, technically, do they have the formula to beat the Chiefs? Yeah. Do I think they're going to beat the Chiefs? No, I really don't. Like, Max Crosby is a dog. They're playing well defensively. Gardner Minshew is going to be the quarterback this week. Aiden O'Connell is out on IR with a fractured thumb or maybe dislocated thumb. Either way, it's a thumb issue that put him on IR. They have no Devontae Adams. Jacoby Myers didn't play. They don't have Josh Jacobs anymore. Like, that's not the same team. They're 2-5. Yeah, they beat the Ravens. I feel like that was a really fluky game. They just lost to the Rams. Gardner Minshew came in for Aiden O'Connell and threw, I think, 2 or 3 interceptions. And also there was a fumble that was housed by the Rams. This is not a good team. Now, with that being said, it's a divisional game. You have to respect them. Divisional opponents and matchups are weird. You prepare for each other a lot. The Chiefs spend a lot of time preparing for the Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers. Well, guess what? The Broncos spend a lot of time preparing for the Chiefs, for the Chargers, for the Raiders. The Raiders spend a lot of time, like all these teams in the division, they spend a lot of time preparing for each other because if you win the division, you get a playoff berth, you know? So yeah, the Raiders, that's a long answer. I guess, like, yeah, technically they have the formula to beat the Chiefs. They were the last ones to do it, but I don't think it's, you have to have a complete implosion from multiple fronts and multiple plays by the Kansas City Chiefs for them to lose this game on Sunday. So can they? Sure. I just don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen. Sean, thanks so much for the 5 gifted. Sean Peterson, what's up, dude? So good to see you when you were in town. Thank you, man. Appreciate the support as always. Kyle with the 15 months. Greetings from California. From this 15-month Redbeard, I'll be experiencing Universal Studios tomorrow. Can't wait. Dude, enjoy your time. Enjoy your trip, your vacay. Let's go, bro. Reeps with the 5. I hung up the Bolton jersey. So Reeps and the members-only live stream last month won a Nick Bolton jersey. You hung up the Nick Bolton jersey in your dad's basement, and he's been browsing Chiefs bids to add to the collection. Let's go, dude. That's how it starts. That's how it starts. Let's go, Reeps, thank you. And then Gateway with the 10 bomb. I'm confident, says Gateway. We will be 7-0 after Sunday. We don't lose in Vegas. It's actually insane to me that the Chiefs won a Super Bowl in the Raiders Stadium before the Raiders even won a playoff game. That's unreal. Ooh, can you play the video of Patrick trucking 6? I don't have it handy, but that is a fire video. What's up, Tarlock? 4S Field? Question. Feel free to decline. In your videos, is that your son gaming on the computer? No, that's my editor, my new editor, Alex. He's actually actively working on the video that I'm recording as I record it. So when we go wide, in some of my videos now, you'll see a guy editing at this computer. That's Alex. He's a new guy. He's in training. He's been here 3 months. He's going to start working remote like a couple days a week now, very soon. But for now, he's been here training, and I've just kind of been raising him up. He's been helping with all the Chiefs edits, and Troy has really helped take over the Cole Breaks the Huddle channel. He's helping with scripting, researching. He's helping with the editing and all that stuff. So if you're not subbed to Cole Breaks the Huddle, we've got almost 11.5 thousand subs on there, and we cover NFL-wide news on that channel, Chiefs news on this channel. But no, that is not my son. It's not my son. If I had a son that old, man, I would have started so early. Holy smokes. Somebody just said Raiders signed somebody, and then the comment went away. How worried am I about Bowers? Yeah, so Brock Bowers is great. Like, if you want to talk about their offense not playing well, I would say the bright spot, bar none, is Brock Bowers. He's on a pretty incredible trajectory for rookie tight ends. He could set the rookie tight end receptions record. Like, he's playing really well this year, and I would say that's the guy you've got to really watch out for. He's great. Like, dude, I'm going to look up Raiders receiving leaders so we can look at it. But yeah, I mean, shoot. If the Chiefs could have Brock Bowers, I would love that. Obviously, it was never realistic. The Chiefs were never going to get that far into the first round to be able to pull that off. But yeah, he's their receiving leader in like every metric, basically. He's leading in yards on the team. He's leading in targets on the team by almost double. He's leading in receptions by pretty much double. Yet he only has 1 touchdown, which I find interesting. I just think the Raiders have struggled in the red zone this year. He also has 251 yards after the catch, which is quite a bit. So yeah, Brock Bowers is definitely the bright spot. Alexander Madison is a guy too, their running back. But and then who is this? Is that Zamir White? Yeah, Zamir White. Yeah, it's not all bad for the Raiders, but they don't have the best coaches in the world, and their fans admit it. They want some people fired, or they've been tossing up the possibility of them getting fired, or hopefully seeing somebody fired to see a shakeup happen. But dude, a rebuild takes a while, so I don't know what they're going to do. Falcon with the 7 months. Thank you, man. Cole, how much do we actually think Veach is willing to mortgage the Chiefs' future to get the 3-peat? I'd be shocked if they went big. Yeah, I don't know that they go for like a big wide receiver. Like, it doesn't feel like Cooper Kupp is a super realistic possibility. It doesn't feel like Tyreek Hill or Devontae Adams, like he was never a realistic possibility. I mean, go look at somebody on the last year of their deal right now that could be dealt for a later round pick. Deontay Johnson, Darius Slayton. Look at some NFC teams who are not playing well right now. Go through their receiver room and look at some potential options there if these guys are maybe on the last year of their deal or underproducing, undervalued by that team. Like those are the guys I feel like are more realistic for you to go through and to kind of see like, hey, could this be a realistic fit for the Chiefs? With that being said, I am just like you, everybody watching. I am a fan. I am on the outside looking in. I don't have any insider knowledge, so this is just kind of my best guess. Brett Veach is calling everybody, I'm sure. He could be inquiring about some people we would be surprised to hear about in a good way, not in a bad way. Just, oh, really? They would consider trading for Cooper Kupp, or I mean, I feel like they were in on another receiver, at least inquiring about him. I've heard some whispers about maybe even a certain Titans receiver, at least them inquiring. It's nothing like there's nothing wrong. It never hurts to inquire. Hey guys, you're 1-6. You suck. Do you want to offload any of your receivers? Because we're chasing a 3-peat and don't have any right now. I mean, it never hurts to ask. He would have asked much more nicely and respectfully than that, but yeah, we'll just see. I might make in my video tomorrow, I'll talk about a couple of other receiving options that have come up. There's a loose rumor being floated that the Rams could be in talks, or the Vikings could be in talks with the Rams about trading Matt Stafford to the Vikings. I don't think there's anything solid there. Dov Kleeman really blew that tweet up today. And so some people were saying, well, what about Cooper Kupp or some other guys over there? I mean, D-Rob is a potential option over there. That's a guy that's like, okay, he's minimal contract, late round pick. That seems more realistic to me. But hey, if Brett Veach wants to surprise us all, I am not going to I'm not going to complain about it. You know what I mean? Hannah with the 5 until we get the offense clicking. Sign a wide receiver and 0 INTs from Mahomes. Oh, I'll always be nervous. But with Minshew back at QB, I feel great for a double-digit win. Hey, the Chiefs have basically won 2 games in a row that at the end of the day were not super stressful. Were there stressful moments? Yes. They were close with the Saints at one point in time. I think it was like a 3-point game. But then, like, in the second half, you were never really nervous. You never really thought that game was out of the control of Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes and company, Spags and the defense. Like, they felt in control. Same with this last game against the 49ers. Was it close at one point? Yes. The 49ers ended up scoring a touchdown, and it got the game. I think it was like pretty close score-wise, but then the Chiefs scored a couple touchdowns after that. It was like a touchdown. The defense came up with an interception. Dude, I hope my internet's still working because my internet just went out. What the heck was that? No, I think I'm still good. That was weird. This web browser that's managing chat and everything just went black, and it said, I don't know what it said, but it looked like my internet cut out. But I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good because everything still says excellent connection. So, but yeah, I hope it's a great two-score win, Hannah, for sure. Thanks for your support as always. Pack West with the 20 bomb regarding lack of movement on maybe you mean wide receiver, probably. Am I wrong to be frustrated with Veach for making Mahomes' life harder and not explaining to the fans why he isn't doing squat? Yeah, sure. I think. Hold on, I'm pulling chat up over to my other monitor so I'm not staring over here. I think it's fine to be frustrated. I think it's also something we need to keep in mind is it's smokescreen season right before the trade deadline. I think he's reaching out, but like the Chiefs aren't going to be like, hey guys, hey Chiefs Kingdom, we've been calling teams. Like you don't want to show your hand, right? It's a game of smoke and mirrors. It's kind of like poker. You got your poker face on right now. Andy Reid's at the presser saying, we don't need anybody. I trust everybody in-house. Juju's down. Rice is down. Who else? Hollywood's down. Like, that's okay. I believe in the guys we have. Like, he's not going to get up on the mic at the podium and be like, yeah, I don't know about these guys over here. We're definitely making calls, and I'm really hoping we trade. So take some of that with a grain of salt. I think it's fine to be frustrated, but just know that the trade deadline's not till November 5th. Think about when the Chiefs traded for Kadarius Toney. When actually was that? It was like right around this time. Chiefs trade for Kadarius Toney. What day was that? October 27th, 2022. That's 5 days from now. So the Chiefs still within the next couple of weeks could make a trade. I understand, though, that you're like, dude, I want a receiver in ASAP because when you trade for a receiver, they need to get in the system. They need to start learning the plays, get in the meetings, get their face in the playbook, start studying like they're back in college. Like, or maybe some of you didn't study in college. Start studying like you're trying to pass something important. I don't know. But it just takes time. And some teams are like kind of holding out. They're like, well, if we win a couple games, like maybe we're not going to sell. Or maybe this player we do want to trade, he balls out in one of these games and his stock goes up. And we say, you were talking about a 6th round pick. I think it's going to be a 5th now because he's had back-to-back, 80-yard games. Look at his value. So yeah, I think it's okay to be frustrated, but I do think that Brett Veach is trying to make a move. I would be really surprised at this point, especially with Marquez Valdez-Scantling signing with the Saints yesterday. I don't know if you saw that, but he is now a New Orleans Saint. They need help. Rashid Shaheed out on IR for the season. MVS is a deep threat guy. How much of a threat remains to be seen. But I think you're fine to be a little frustrated, but then you can really be frustrated if they don't make a move at all. But just know this. Even if a wide receiver trade doesn't happen by the deadline, it doesn't mean Brett Veach didn't try to call, and it doesn't mean Brett Veach didn't try and make offers. But somebody just asked, hey, do you think the Chiefs will mortgage their future for a three-peat to go get somebody now? I mean, I don't think so. I don't think they'll take a huge swing just in the honor of chasing a three-peat. I mean, they traded away Tyreek Hill for crying out loud, and the Chiefs have won back-to-back Super Bowls since. Is that a recipe I love? I mean, no, not really. The offense has definitely struggled at times, but I'm sure Veach is going to make a move. at least one can hope. Please, God. Almost said Brett Veach. What the heck? Aaron Jacobson with the 22 months. Hey, everyone. Cole, great call on Noah Gray having a big game. That was impressive. Dude, Noah Gray had a career game. 4 catches for 66 yards, I think it was. He's never had a game over 45 yards. He's done that twice in 2022. And yeah, he had a great game. All of his catches were for first downs. It was incredible. So only 4 targets, but all 4 were catches for first downs, 66 yards on the day. You know, I think some people are reading a bit too much into that performance and saying, oh, Noah Gray is our future tight end 1. I still think when Travis Kelce moves on, you need to keep taking some shots at the tight end room, but I do think Noah Gray plays his role as a tight end 2 really well. You got to think, man, some of these plays where Noah Gray got open, it's because the defense swarmed to Kelce and Gray was open. That happens quite a bit. But yeah, here's the thing about Noah Gray. He has proven pretty much every single year that if Mahomes throws the ball his way, he's going to catch it or most likely catch it. Sky Moore hasn't proven that. You know, like if I'm Mahomes, obviously I'm not, but if I'm Mahomes back there, I know the play. Sky Moore is a potential read, but so is Noah Gray. Who the heck you think I'm going to look to? Because, yeah, maybe Sky has got a potential possibility to be open, but is he going to catch it? I don't know. Noah Gray, meanwhile, is probably going to catch it. And I'm super happy for Gray. He just got extended recently within the past couple of months now. And he had a great game. He's a guy you can play on special teams. He can block well too. Kind of jack of all trades guy back there. He can play some H-back. He could do some QB tight end sneaks if you need him to as well. Speaking of, man, to have Carson Wentz in there in the red zone, I wonder if some QB sneaks could be coming. Like, Carson Wentz is incredible at the tight end sneak. So could he potentially get out there on offense and run a sneak and 3rd and 1, 4th and 1? You might not see that till the playoffs, but I do think you have the potential possibility to see it. And the fact that they brought Carson Wentz out there, Andy Reid is like a freaking wizard, dude. He'll start running these plays just to have spinoff of it like later on in the season. So think of like corn dog, the reverse motion. They scored the game winner on a corn dog variation. It was called Tom and Jerry technically, but that was McCole was supposed to be a what do you want to call it? A decoy. He wasn't necessarily supposed to get that ball. They were going to pitch it to Jerick McKinnon like a shovel. McCole was a decoy. Well, Bosa crashed, and he crashed for the run. And so McCole was wide open. But that's just an example of like Andy Reid drawing up plays and then doing little twists and turns and little changes to that play. I saw Rice run this in training camp. He's obviously out for the season, but Rashee Rice ran like a corn dog and he cut back inside. So he goes pre-snap motion in, as they snap the ball, reverses direction, and then as a cornerback in coverage bites on him making that outside move like corn dog or Tom and Jerry, he cuts back in and runs a slant. It was nasty. So I went on a rabbit trail about the greatness of Andy Reid. But dude, we could see some interesting stuff with Carson Wentz here soon as well. And that was all a tangent from Noah Gray having the ability to do some tight end sneaks. Aaron Jacobson also with the freaking 10 gifted. Dude, thank you so much for the 10 gifted, man. Hannah with the 2. Veach moves in darkness and silence. I mean, very true. Like, here's the thing about Veach. I think this is the thing that frustrates me the most. It's not even this is just a spoiled frustration. Why does he do his deals in the middle of the night? The dude is Bruce Wayne. He's freaking Batman. Every time there's a deal made, it's like at 11 p.m. I'm like about to go to bed. And I'm like, dude, Chris Jones extension done. The Chiefs signed this receiver. The Chiefs signed this player, that player. It's always at like 10 p.m. I'm like, man, you guys never sleep. You never sleep. Brett Veach just lives on caffeine. Yeah, thank you again, Hannah, for the 2 bomb after Aaron's 10 bomb and Barry's 10 right here. Hey, bro, just met Justin Watson yesterday. Cool, brother. Made me feel short. It is what it is. Hey, man, that's awesome. You met Justin Watson? Where did you meet him? Thanks so much for the 10. Justin Watson, is he like 6'3"? He's 6'2". He's about my height. I go to bed at 11. Well, I'm not like asleep at 11, but like it's at 11 p.m. I'm winding down. I'm trying to watch a show or just relax, but I check Twitter. The Chiefs, so then I run down here and set everything up. I'm not asleep by 11. Your alarms for Gifted is super quiet, just barely hear it. Well, I press it just like this. It's just really low in the background. I don't want to freak people out. Like, I could definitely turn it up, but I definitely don't want to freak people out. I don't know that there's a good chance we get Cooper Kupp, Junie, but I'm not going to rule out the possibility. I would be surprised if the Chiefs gave up a second-round pick. That's a pretty valuable pick for Cooper Kupp. But, the Titans' third-round pick in 2025, that's borderline a second-round pick. I'm a little more open to that, I guess, but I do worry about Cooper Kupp's injury history. But he's a great receiver when healthy. Do you take the risk? You'd also have to restructure somebody and make room financially. Now, the Rams are supposedly willing to pay for some of Cooper Kupp's salary, so the cap hit isn't as astronomical this year or whatever. Like, I saw that report, but I don't know. Like, I love the idea of Cooper Kupp. He's a guy you could fit in the slot, and he's going to eat. And I think you would build... He's been with Stafford, so I think you would... Sorry, I'm checking the temperature on my phone in my house. It feels hot. Yeah, he had Matt Stafford prior. He could, I think, adapt with Mahomes very quickly. Matt Stafford is a great QB, very accurate, sidearm guy, no-look guy. Cooper Kupp would come into this offense and fit right in for sure. Did you hear Devontae already once traded? No. How? He just got there. Matt KC Chiefs fan with the 10 bomb. Let's go, dude. Thanks, Colin HBTC crew. No question. Just keep doing your thing. Dude, thanks so much for the kind words. Thanks so much for the 10 bomb and just for hanging out and being here, man. I say this from time to time, but I never thought that I would ever be able to do this for a living. And so it's not lost on me just to have your guys' support, and the fact that I just get to wake up and study Chiefs all day, every day, and watch NFL games, and like that's what I get to do. Like, yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Will you wear a costume at Halloween? Well, the Chiefs don't play on Halloween. I'll go trick-or-treating with my kids. I don't know that I'll wear a costume. I'll wear a Chiefs shirt probably. Maybe a Chiefs jersey. I'll go as a Chiefs fan. Is there a day picked for member stream? Not yet, Marcus, but we are running out of time. We've got this week, this weekend, and then the last day of October is Thursday. So yeah, we'll make some moves here soon, and you'll see some announcements in the Discord and in the community posts in the membership tab on YouTube. What do you think of Xavier Worthy, said Scotty. Can he be a number one option, or is he not ready yet, and you need someone other than Juju to help relieve stress off of Worthy? I mean, I just feel like at this point in time, Worthy is like your deep threat guy. You can expand his role, and I think they're trying to, but he's just still building rapport with Patrick Mahomes, and they've been close on a couple deep strikes. Like last week, I mean, Mahomes was... I sound like a guy telling a story about a fish I caught. Mahomes probably said he was this close, but it was this. I mean, Mahomes was close, a couple yards off of a 65-yard touchdown strike that would have made us lose our minds up in here like DMX. Like, I mean, they're close. Now, do I think, what was the question? Do I think he could be at number one? I don't know at this point in time. I think how it was supposed to be was Rice probably being number one, Hollywood being played and used all over the field, and then Worthy being used to stretch the field in the true deep threat. Well, you're now having to expand his role much quicker than probably anticipated, kind of like what they did with Rashee Rice. Now, something to watch is they really started to expand Rashee Rice's role last year after about week 6, week 7. Well, we're on week 8 now, and the wide receiver room just keeps taking hit after hit after hit, and I think we're going to see Xavier Worthy's role increase. Now, he's got to make the most of his opportunities. He's a smaller bodied guy. You've got to be careful. Like, he took a big shot last week. Won't be surprised if he's on the injury report in some capacity on the report that drops tomorrow, because he freaking got hit and he's small, 170 pounds, and he got checked out by the trainers. I do have some concerns there, but here's the thing. There's a conversation going on one of my posts on Twitter about, and maybe the person in these comments watches my videos, so it's no disrespect to them, but they're saying, I can already tell you right now, Xavier Worthy is just a faster McCole Hardman. Not worth the first-round pick. He's going to be a bust in the sense of a first-rounder. He is going to be your gadget guy. He's going to be your new McCole Hardman. Gadget guy, 500-600 yards, call it good. I just feel like that's a little premature. I think it's too early to know that for sure. And the counter-argument for them was, well, look at Brian Thomas Jr., look at some of these other wide receivers that have been drafted, and look at their numbers. Well, I don't know. I just feel like I can't look at other teams and their scheme and how they're using people and just be like, yeah, based on Brian Thomas Jr.'s production, who was one of my favorite wide receivers in last year's draft, a guy I really would have loved to see the Chiefs go and get. You look at those numbers from those receivers and then look at Worthy and say, oh, he's a bust. When you know he's been this close on several catches from having 200 or 300 more yards on the season. I mean, I just think it's a little premature to label Xavier Worthy a bust. Ray with the 14 months. Hey, Cole, the Fesco and Dusty show played a clip of you breaking down the loss of the Raiders on Christmas Day this morning. Yeah, somebody texted me and they're like, hey, you're on the radio right now. I was like, I'm on the radio? What the heck do you mean? And 96.5, they were playing one of my Raiders shorts, just recapping the Chiefs' loss to them last year at Christmas. And that was really cool, man. I actually reached out to Dusty in the Twitter DMs, the X DMs, and just said, hey, appreciate you using that. So that was cool. I think they're going to play it again later this week. So I was like, wow. Those are radio guys. That's what they get paid to do. I never know who listens to my stuff. I don't think any of those guys listen to my stuff regularly. This is what they do. They do what I do right now, but they do it on the radio. So I don't know what those guys think of me sometimes, it's because it's just like, oh, that's a YouTube guy. He's doing his thing over there. We're doing our radio thing. Carrington Harrison, he's great. He's a good buddy, but you just never know. And the fact that they played that, I was like, dude, that's really cool. I don't know how they heard that, how they found it, but yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Darrell with the 2, you're amazing, Cole. Thank you. No, thank you, Darrell. Thank you for all the support as always. I really appreciate you guys. You should dress up as a ghost. And what I mean by that is Sky Moore on the field. Oh, no. That's insane. That's hilarious. Will Worthy have better stats this year than MVS last year? I mean, MVS didn't have but, what, maybe a few hundred yards? MVS last year had 315 yards, 21 receptions. If I go, here's where you can go. Xavier Worthy ESPN stats. I think they do projections, right? Based on the numbers. Where do I see his projection? He already has 200 yards and two touchdowns in the air, 2 touchdowns rushing. He already has 4 touchdowns. So let me see. Projected. Right now, Xavier Worthy is projected to have 43 catches for 561 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's just in the air. This is an average. It's not going to be this, right? 43 catches for 561 yards and 6 touchdowns. And then on the ground, an additional 133 yards and 6 more touchdowns. So yeah, I would say it's safe to say, even though this is I think an oversimplification of how averages work, I think he's going to have a better year this year than MVS did last year, and you were paying MVS however much, $10 million to do it. Joy with the membership. Thank you, Joy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are doing well. Xavier Worthy, one hand, caught that 62-yard deep ball. Wide receiver 1, I believe it. Let's go, Braden. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Can't stand Les Crosby. I like Max Crosby, to be honest. I think he's a Raider, and it's like I don't look at any Raiders player and be like, oh yeah, wow, they're so cool. But I have a lot of respect for Max Crosby. I think he has a great work ethic. His story is crazy of him getting clean and sober and all that. He's got a family, and he's a dog. Like, you gotta respect work ethic and just straight up dogs out there on the football field. You don't have to like them when they play. Like, if Max Crosby sacks Mahomes, I'm not gonna be like, I'm so happy for Max. No, I'm not. Hell no. Screw that. But I think Max Crosby is one of those guys where I can look across the Raiders divide and kind of when he's not playing the Chiefs, I can kind of like set that aside and be like, dude, that dude's a dog. I can say that with PS2 of the Broncos. Like, I'll look at him and like, yeah, he's a Bronco, but dude, that guy's a freaking dog, man. I could probably say the same about a Charger. I don't know if anybody off like the top of my head right now. Derwin James is a pretty doggy type person, but like, he needs to quit with the hits, the kind of dirty hits, man. You got to cut that crap. But I mean, I like Herbert. I think he's a good quarterback, kind of set up to fail in the system that he's been in. So, Tan the man with the 5 months. Hey Cole, what's your inside thought about the Chiefs wide receiver room? I don't know. Inside thought, like thoughts I think in my head that I don't voice out loud. I don't know. I feel like I'm a pretty open book, man. I think the wide receiver room is struggling, and it's mainly due to injuries. Like, imagine if Rice was healthy. Imagine if Worthy was healthy. Juju. Like, you might not even have Juju Smith-Schuster on the roster if you had Hollywood and Rice still healthy. I think it would look completely different. I think the Chiefs would be averaging 28 points a game. I mean, I just think it would look different. And here's the thing. The Chiefs have adapted. They went and got Kareem Hunt because of injuries in the running back room. CEH wasn't there either. They've adapted. They're 6-0. They're a very efficient team, even though it's not always pretty, but they grind out these wins, man. So the wide receiver room, like, it needs help. It needs somebody. If Juju's out for a few weeks, like, bro, go get somebody. I understand you can't, like, people in the comments, they say, well, Cole, if they trade for a receiver today, they're not playing Sunday, and they're probably not playing next Sunday. I mean, you're probably right. Amari Cooper was traded midweek and played for the Bills and got a touchdown. It's not impossible. But yeah, they would be limited in their role. I'm not denying that. Rice getting suspended next year too after his sentencing this summer. Yeah. Rice is injured the rest of the year, and he's probably going to start out the year suspended for sure. Bionica with the 20 months. Hey Cole, congrats on all your fame that might not get properly credited. You are super famous now. Nah. Not really. I mean, if I go out in the Kansas City area, will a person here or there recognize me and say, how about those Chiefs? I mean, yeah. But like, if I left the city, nobody's going to know who I am, So I think I have appreciation of Chiefs fans in Kansas City because I live in Kansas City, and I'm really grateful for that. But I don't know about famous. I don't really know what I am. I'm just me. I'm just Cole, the same guy who makes videos in the basement now at 250,000 subs as I did when I had 250 subs, 2,500 subs, 25,000 subs. When I had 25,000 subs, I quit my job and was terrified. And here we are. We've got 2 employees, growing the other YouTube channel as well. And it's been an awesome journey so far. Jabin with the 2. Mahomes going to handle Kermit jokes on Sunday. Hey, it'll get handled when it gets handled. That's what Mahomes said about that defensive back, one of the rookies, using the Kermit the Frog puppet at training camp, calling Mahomes out of name, calling him a female dog. Yeah, Mahomes ain't going to forget that stuff. The Jags could use Sky Moore. Dude, I would trade Sky Moore for Brian Thomas Jr. straight up. Okay, that's not happening. Christian Kirk? Maybe. Brandon, the Cooper Kupp rumors, it's not really like a legitimate rumor. I just think the Rams are willing to potentially trade Cooper Kupp. They're not having a good season. You know what I mean? And the Chiefs need a receiver. So people just say, oh, look, this team's willing to trade this receiver. The Chiefs could be in. Like, yeah, maybe. Maybe they could be in. You'd trade Sky Moore for a cheeseburger? Man, put bacon on it at least. Fitznut said, I would recognize you in Massachusetts, and there's thousands of people that look like you here. All right, fair enough. Do you think any team is interested in trading for Sky? I don't think so, but dude, I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs, there was an announcement on Twitter, X. I don't know what's, like, I call it Twitter because it's forever Twitter in my head. But, like, I wouldn't be surprised to see, like, an announcement of the Chiefs trading for a receiver and Sky Moore was packaged in that. Like, hey, you want this receiver for a fourth? Well, throw in Sky Moore and how about you can have this receiver for a sixth instead? Is that going to happen? I don't know. Has Sky really showed anything that would impress another team enough to take a gamble? I mean, maybe a low-risk gamble because you get him for the rest of this year and next year on a pretty cheap rookie deal. It would have to be a team that liked Sky coming out of college, liked some of the stuff they saw in the scouting report, and were willing to bet to some extent that they could bring out some of the qualities in Sky that the Chiefs were unable to do. If the Chiefs can't do it, I'm kind of like, who the hell can? But hey, if they think that, okay, fine, you can trade for Sky. Mitchell's Woodwork LLC with the membership. Let's go, man. Thank you for that. Dude, hats off to people who are good at, like, all that stuff, handy stuff. Like, I had somebody send me a custom cutting board. That was really cool. I can't do anything like that. Let's do talk Chiefs, edit videos. That's about it. You want Clark the Shark? Frank Clark? I think he's done. I mean, you got a Minihue coming back soon. Felix and Udike Uzama, somebody just tagged me on Twitter and said Felix is one of the highest graded Chiefs defensive players from last game. So that's a good positive thing. Bionica asks, what's the protocol for releasing a player mid-season? I mean, if you release a player like Sky, I mean, you can. It's fine. He would have to clear waivers. So I think it would be kind of silly of the Chiefs to release him before the trade deadline if you're not trying to shop him for a trade, because not only do you lose his rookie contract, but he's going to have to clear waivers, and maybe that's fine with the Chiefs by that point. And then you're free of his contract. I think you pay people like on a per game basis. You'd have to go look at his guarantees. It all depends on the player, their guarantees and stuff like that. But I mean, in theory, you could release a player like Sky. I mean, we just saw a lot of these guys, I think, are like vet min deal guys, but we just saw some wide receivers get released today. Paris Campbell, I think, maybe a couple others. Yeah, man. Somebody said, I hate that Jalen Watson got injured. Yeah, it sucks. He has an outside shot. Jalen Watson, the Chiefs' cornerback too, broke his fibula and his tibia. Has to have surgery this week. He has reportedly, Jeremy Fowler of ESPN said he has an outside shot to return deep in the playoffs. An outside shot he could return late January. That sucks. Jalen Watson is out for the season. Could he return maybe for the AFC Championship game or Super Bowl if the Chiefs make it there? There is an outside shot, which to me means it's less than a 50% chance right now. Unclear. He's got to have surgery and see how he does in his rehab. Yeah. Nazi allowed a 50-yard bomb. Yeah, I mean, he owned up to that on Twitter and said the stuff that he's going through right now, it's correctable. And when you think about this, Andy Reid spoke about Nazi Johnson too the other day. I mean, Nazi, his first year in the league, he basically played special teams, right? Was shaping up for a nice looking, for all appearances, second year, sophomore year, and he tore his ACL. Then you spend all that year just rehabbing, and now this is his first time really playing defense. You almost look at this like not Nazi's rookie year, but like he's pretty new to playing at the pro level in Spags' defense. He's played special teams before and then spent last year on IR rehabbing the ACL. So is he perfect? No. Is he making mistakes? Yes. Do I believe that he has the athletic traits and tangibles and enough experience in Spags' system to learn from those mistakes and grow and get better as the weeks go on? I mean, yeah, that's the hope, right? And He's a good dude. He's been on the channel a couple times. I believe in him. Has he allowed a couple of things to happen? Yeah, he has. I mean, so is Justin Reed. Justin Reed allowed a 41-yard bomb to George Kittle down the sideline. Now, Justin Reed also had a nice INT. So, like, you're going to mess up sometimes. It's just going to happen. The main thing for me is, do you learn from those mistakes and mess ups? Do you go back to the drawing board, watch film, get, coaching advice from Spags or Dave Merritt, rather, the DB coach, and then apply what you learn and don't make that mistake again? In theory, the answer is yes. You learn and you grow and you get better and it's all good. But yeah, there's going to be some growing pains. Jalen Watson was the clear CB2, man. He was doing great this year by almost every single metric. Him and McDuffie were one of the best cornerback duos in the NFL. And that's kind of like underrated because everybody was worried. I mean, myself included to some extent, like L'Jarius Sneed is getting traded. I'm worried. He was so good last year. And then in the offseason, Jalen Watson had shoulder surgery, was rehabbing his labrum, didn't participate in camp, barely camp, a little bit of camp, non-contact jersey for most of it, played a little bit in the preseason, looked really rough in his preseason game, and heading into week 1 against the Ravens, Steve Spagnuolo said, yeah, we don't really know who CB2 is yet. It's still trial by committee as we see who steps up and is the most consistent. Well, it ended up being Jalen Watson, and he ended up balling out. So this injury freaking sucks. Hannah with the 10. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN said KC has not been overly aggressive in wide receiver market. What if that's Veach's strategy for not overpaying? Waits a week before the deadline. Teams whose season look done become price takers. Example, Titans with D-Hop. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it makes sense. I'm not surprised if, I don't know when Jeremy Fowler said that. Did he say that today? I don't know when he said that, but that doesn't really surprise me that the Chiefs aren't trying to be aggressive in the wide receiver trade market. That's what I'm saying. I don't think you're trying to go and get Tyreek Hill. Somebody was talking about Chris Olave, which, hey, that'd be fun. I don't even know where that's coming from today. Chiefs Twitter was talking about that. That'd be awesome. You go get a guy that's cost controlled, but you already know how talented he is. You draft somebody, right? And it's always like a potential what if. Well, we think what we see from our scouts and what we see from their college level play will translate to the pro level. Well, that's still a risk. But somebody like Chris Olave has shown he can produce at the pro level, and there's no debate there. So yeah, if you can go get him, great. You'll have a guy on a rookie deal, but you're going to have to give up multiple draft picks to be able to do it. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why the Saints would deal him. They're in cap hell right now. You want to keep young guys that are on their rookie deals, in my opinion. So I'd be surprised if that happens, but I just don't think they're going to be super aggressive. No. I like that idea. Who said that? Was it Hannah? Hannah going crazy with the dono bombs. Yeah, you wait. You maybe call again in a week or two for Deontay Johnson, for Darius Slayton. These are guys that they're going to be a 5th, 6th round pick and not that much money. Yeah, I can't remember. I talked about it last week. Darius Slayton's going to cost a little bit. Deontay Johnson would be a little bit more. You might have to restructure somebody to get, I think, Deontay. I could have it backwards. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but yeah, I feel like those are the moves that the Chiefs are going to be looking for over anything else. Nothing super aggressive. So that doesn't really surprise me. He said that. But yeah, the longer you wait, you might be able to get somebody on a little bit more of a deal. Teams right now might hold on to somebody a little bit closer because they're like, well, what if we win out the next 2 weeks? And what if our season's not dead yet? Well, if you wait 2 more weeks and they lose 2 more games, you're 1-7. Your season's done, dude. It's over. Chiefs Kingdom with the 2. Devontae already requested a trade. Go check for yourself. Where would I see that? Because where do I look? He just got there. That can't be real. Devontae Adams trade. I'm looking it up real quick. Who's this guy? I think this is a fake account. Yeah, this is a fake account. Yeah, it was a fake account, so it's nothing legit. KC Dog with the 5 bomb. Pittsburgh's going to be a defensive battle. Yeah, hate it's on Christmas because of last year. LOL. 24-17 Chiefs. What's up, KC Dog? Yeah, the Steelers, man, I'm just going to be honest. They looked pretty good. It was only Russell Wilson's first game back in like a year because he got benched, right? He got benched at the end of his time with the Broncos because of the injury stuff. They didn't want to chance him getting injured and an injury guarantee kicking in, which if I was Russell Wilson, he's a much better person than me. If I'm Russell Wilson, I'm getting hurt if I go back in the game. So that injury guarantee kicks in. I'm just kidding. But like Russell Wilson didn't play then, and then he sat out all this season because of the calf injury, and he looked freaking good. I'm not going to lie. Like, perfect? No. Was he getting booed at the beginning? Yeah. But he's knocking the rust off, and he looked good by the end of it. They put up like 35 points, and with the defense that good, the Steelers have a top 3 defense in the NFL, top 3, top 5 in most metrics. You look that good on defense, and you put up 30-plus points on offense, good luck. Good freaking luck, man. Now it's against the Jets. That's not a cakewalk defense, man. It's not. So that's going to be a hard one. That's going to be a tough one for sure, KC Dog. It's funny, like at the beginning of the season or when the calendar came out, I was like, oh yeah, the Chiefs are winning that one easy. But those are one of those, that's a game where it's like, well, if the Chiefs don't come out and fire on all cylinders, that could be an L. I still think the Chiefs are probably going to win it, but like, I'm not saying that game's going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. Travis with a 10. What's up, man? Well, what do you think about the Chiefs having Cliff Kingsbury for an offensive coach in the future? It would reunite him with Mahomes, true, from his time at Texas Tech. And he's really good on offensive play calling. Just a thought. Yeah, he's with the Cardinals right now. I believe that's who he's with. He got fired from, I'm trying to remember who he was with last year. Went on hiatus for a while. Who was he the coach of last year? No, he's not. Dude, I'm tripping. Where's Cliff Kingsbury right now? Who's he coaching for right now? Am I saying the wrong team? Oh, he's offensive coordinator of the Commanders. He used to be head coach of the Cardinals, got fired. I got a little mixed up in my thoughts. I was going back to the wrong season. Yeah, so he's with Jaden Daniels right now. They look good. Yeah, their offense looks great. I actually don't mind the idea of like, I'm not saying it would happen, but I don't mind the idea of somebody like Cliff Kingsbury coming in as an OC because I just think it would be nice to bring in somebody with some fresh ideas. Andy Reid is fun. Like, he's great. One of the best offensive minds in the NFL, but would it really hurt to bring in a younger mind? I mean, Kingsbury's 45, but he's from a different tree. Like, would it hurt to bring in Cliff Kingsbury and introduce some new kind of fresh ideas? I don't personally think so. I have a feeling Doug Peterson's probably going to be the OC or some coach next year that helps with play calling next year. The pass game coordinator or something. But I wouldn't mind it. You asked. So yeah, Cliff Kingsbury, he's with the Washington Commanders right now, was the head coach of the Cardinals, got fired. But yeah, dude, the Cardinals, or not the Cardinals, the Commanders, their offense looks really good. Now, Jaden Daniels is a little bit banged up right now, but yeah, they've been wheeling and dealing, man. Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Daniel, yeah, he's week to week with a rib injury. He is, yeah. Because Matt Nagy sucks. Yeah, I was just thinking about this today. Like, the red zone woes and stuff, people have been saying it's Matt Nagy's fault, right? Well, the Chiefs just went 4 for 5 in the red zone. I don't think I saw a single tweet on Twitter saying Matt Nagy did a great job in the red zone this week. It's Andy Reid, dude. You praise Andy Reid when the Chiefs do well. You need to blame Andy Reid when the Chiefs don't do well on offense. Like, I mean, maybe I missed it on Twitter, but I don't see anybody going, Matt Nagy did such a good job coaching the offense in the red zone. No, you're giving your hats off to Andy Reid and obviously the players for executing the play calls. So I'm kind of just of the mindset Andy Reid runs the offense. Who owns the 49ers? Yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs. Who will we get to replace Spags next year? Dude, I hope Spags stays a Kansas City Chief for a long time. You never blame Nagy? I'm not saying everybody does. I'm kind of speaking generally. Should the Chiefs trade for an offensive lineman, like a tackle? I think you can make a case for it, but I think talented starting level tackles are extremely hard to get a hold of because if they're playing well, that's such a valuable position. Teams aren't normally going to want to, they're not normally going to want to get rid of that player mid-season for one, but even if they're playing poorly that year, they're not like, and if they have a talented tackle, it's such an integral part of having a successful offense. It's really hard for somebody to let a tackle go. So sure, I could make a case for why the Chiefs should maybe trade for a tackle, but I don't think it's super realistic, which I understand the concerns there. Jawan Taylor, you're stuck with his contract, and he's actually fine, I feel like, when he's not committing these penalties. Last week, fine. For the most part, didn't have these costly penalties and serviceable for sure. Left tackle, more of a concern. Like, I get it. I just don't know who you're going to go and trade for. And like a team that's willingly going to be like, yeah, sure. You can just have our left tackle right now. It's fine. Not a big deal. I would say like left tackle is arguably the second most important player on the team outside of the quarterback. For sure, you could argue that's the second most important player on the offense outside of the quarterback because, and if it's a lefty, it's the right tackle. It's the blindside protector of the quarterback. Like if you don't have somebody protecting him that you can rely on, I mean, you're in trouble, which that's why I understand the concerns there of Wanya Morris and Kingsley Suamataia. It just kind of is what it is right now at the left tackle position. Janae said, Cole, your Twitter response about being removed. Yeah, I had a comment removed on Instagram because I called somebody a rodent. I said, cry more, you little rodent. And he said something like, and I don't ever respond on Instagram really. Like I just happened to see the comment and just cry more, you little rodent. I got a notification from Instagram 5 minutes later. Your comment has been removed for bullying and harassment. Well, I'm like, dude, the guy commented on my video saying, oh, I see the Chiefs are paying off the refs. How many times they going to hold? And this is just like cussing up a storm. I'm just like, dude, you need to relax. But Instagram's a crazy world, man. I was like, that was bullying and harassment. I called him a little rodent. I was just kind of like trolling around, but okay, that's fine. Whatever. Cole, you think the Chiefs should go get Christian Kirk? I mean, sure. The Jags aren't playing well. I mean, I think they just won, didn't they? I could be wrong. Yeah. They just beat the Patriots in London. I watched that game at 8:30 in the morning. I don't know how realistic Christian Kirk is, to be honest, but I don't mind it. Who, as Mike said, do we all do the same Chiefs hater voice? Yeah, we all talk like this. Oh, the Chiefs get paid by the refs. Chances we get Garrett Wilson, I would say slim to none. But that would be fun. Do you think the Harbaughs would take over the big boy spots in the NFL when Andy retires now that Belichick is out of the way? When you say the big boy spots, what exactly are you talking about? Are you talking about for the Chiefs? Are you talking about, what does that mean exactly when you say take over the big boy spots in the NFL? Oh, and Andy retires. Meaning like they're going to be the top head coaches in the league? If that's what you mean, just like looking at all the coaches across the way, I mean, yeah, maybe. I think Kyle Shanahan still deserves to be up there in the conversation. If they can get healthy, I like Mike McDaniel. I like Sean McVay. The Harbaughs are great too. You dirty rat. Little rodent band t-shirt hype. You little rodent, sell some shirts. Yards a game. Oh, did I say something wrong? Somebody had like an asterisk about yards per game. It hurts sometimes when you realize the intent of the offense going into the season with all the offseason acquisitions, knowing that offense could have been paired with this defense. Yeah, man, the injuries suck. Like, let's just be honest. The Chiefs have been able to stay pretty healthy year in and year out through deep playoff runs. I've talked about it in videos. Like, this is an underrated aspect of the Chiefs' success. Some of it's luck. Some of it's the Chiefs' training staff, and some of it's just the Chiefs players in general taking their offseason training, their recovery time seriously. Like, they've been able to stay pretty healthy. Well, they're the most banged up like that I can remember of a Chiefs team this early on in the year. Like your wide receiver 1, your wide receiver 2, and now your wide receiver 3 is dealing with a hamstring issue. You're then at the time running back 1. He's out on IR. Kareem Hunt is great, and I think he could be running back 1 even upon Pacheco's return. My reason for saying that is I think even when Pacheco returns, you're going to have a ramp-up period and start to ease him in. Then after a few weeks, maybe it's just like a solid 1-2 combo with Kareem and Pacheco, and they're kind of doing their thing back and forth. Like, I don't mind that at all. Who else? I feel like there's more injuries that we're missing. I mean, Aminuhu's still recovering, but that wasn't an injury that happened this year. But those are the biggest ones. I'm sure I'm missing somebody else, but like Jalen Watson just got injured. To do what they have done this season is totally shocking with all the issues. Yeah, same said last year about the drops. Yeah, I agree 100%. What about Mike Dana? Yeah, he's dealt with some injury, and he didn't play last week, but like he's played most of these games, right? But yeah, he is a guy that's banged up right now for sure. That's one of your starting defensive ends. Still holding out Hollywood and Jalen can be back for the late postseason. I feel more confident probably about Hollywood Brown than Jalen Watson at this point in time. But yeah, I hope so. Jack said, hey, for what it's worth, Matt Nagy was on a podcast during the bye week, and his exact words were, the red zone is Andy's baby. Yeah, so I mean, that's Andy's, like, he's calling the plays, dude. And in crucial situations, he's probably calling the plays on those down and distances too. Matt, with the 5 bomb, appreciate you, bro. The injuries suck, but the Chiefs have been making the right moves to adjust. Yeah, I mean, you've been rolling with the punches and you're 6-0. It's insane. Like, here's the thing. Somebody said it. Like, I might have been all chiefed up on Twitter. It was a pretty good tweet. They talked about, I think it was all chiefed up. They were just saying, hey, if we would have told you that the Chiefs would be, whatever, 5-0, 6-0, after all these tough teams at the beginning of the schedule, without Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, Isaiah Pacheco, without, whoever else we want to talk about that's been dealing with some injuries, that's been getting banged up. Oh, and then like you combine that with, and we re-signed Kareem Hunt and Juju Smith-Schuster. Like, nobody would have believed us if we told you that, and yet here they are. So they've made the most of their opportunities. I mean, they've made the most delicious lemonade out of the lemons they've been given. That's for sure. Yeah, Clyde started out on the NFI. That's another player I was missing. Thank you. Yeah, that's another one. Devontae Adams is in a bad mood. I mean, maybe so. Dana's the other injury you were missing. Well, he's a guy that missed the last week. But I was thinking of guys that are out like longer term, because I don't think Dana's out longer term unless I'm missing something. But yeah, he didn't play last week. You forgot BJ Thompson even existed. Yeah, he's on. I think he's on the NFI still. Bro, he went into cardiac arrest and flatlined during a meeting. Yeah, no info on BJ Thompson right now. I haven't heard a peep. No peep. I mean, the last I heard, he was like continuing to go through testing and believed he could return this season. But it's tough to know. What happened to Kyle Sheets? He didn't make it. I don't know where he is now. Clyde returns. Yeah, Clyde's back on the roster now. He was inactive last week, but he's on the 53. How long are you streaming? I normally stream for a little over an hour on Tuesdays these days. I'll stream for a little bit longer. I'm having fun talking Chiefs with you guys. Didn't want to back into my dog, so I always look. I'm terrified I'm going to run her over. Justin Ross. Yeah, Justin Ross could be a guy that gets called up. He could be a guy that gets called up from the practice squad and he plays Sunday against the Raiders. I just don't know if the Chiefs are going to roll with Ross, Nico Remigio, or Montreal Washington. And all that is dependent on what they plan to use that person for. Like if McCole Hardman is actually going to have a much more serious role on offense, I feel like it's more likely that Nico Remigio or Montreal Washington get called up because those guys could return. And then you pull McCole from that and let him play more on the offense. I don't know if I want to mess with that. I feel like McColl's been doing fine as a returner. I don't know why you would want to mess with that, but maybe they do. If they don't do that with McCole, he stays as a returner. Maybe it's Justin Ross, and they've got some ideas to use him in some niche roles on the offense this weekend. I mean, I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine at this point in time. Demarcus Robinson, he's been in the system. Yeah, Hannah. I mean, anybody that's been in the system could also be a possibility. D-Rob, that's why some people are saying Tyreek Hill. Byron Pringle is still a free agent, I believe, which I feel like if he was a serious possibility, he would have been brought in by now, even if it was just to the practice squad. But yeah, D-Rob is in LA. He would be not only an affordable contract from a cap hit perspective, but you'd get him for a late round pick. Is that enough of a needle mover? I don't know. I mean, he's been playing at an effective level. I don't think his stats are popping off the charts this season or anything like that. Yeah, D-Hop is another one. Sammy Watkins, I don't know about that. I don't know about Sammy. Sammy, I have no Hammy Watkins. Louis Rees-Zammit returning. Carson Steele can do kick returns. I just don't think he's really a punt returner. You want a guy that's a little more agile, I think, back there. Agile, returning punts. But he can do kicks. What do you think happens to all the running backs when Pop comes back? Do we cut someone? Yeah, I don't know how you can have 5 running backs on the roster. I think you will have to visit that when the time comes. I will say this, when Pacheco comes back, he's for sure staying, and Kareem Hunt is for sure staying, and most likely Samaje Perine as the third down back. I feel like Perine has shown he can be reliable and trusted enough on third downs and in key red zone situations that he's probably staying as well. And you might keep one more. So it's probably a toss-up between Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Carson Steele. Hannah with another 2. Just don't think KC makes a splashy wide receiver move. No, I agree with you. I don't think it's anything crazy. If they do, it's going to be somebody and we're like, yeah, that makes sense. That's exciting. But I'm not going to go streaking down the street at midnight, screaming my head off and lighting fireworks, lighting bottle rockets and Roman candles off at the neighbors because of the move. You know, I don't think it's going to be like that. Has Marlon Tuipulotu always been on the 53? Yeah, I believe, I don't know if he's always been on the 53. Did he get claimed off of waivers and he's stayed on the active roster this whole time? Does somebody in chat just know that off the top of your head? I want to say he was on the practice squad for a bit and then got elevated, but I don't really feel like he's been used. Did you say Marlon or Tui? It's Tui. Hold on, dude. It's his cousin. Chiefs roster. Maybe it is Marlon Tuipulotu. There's cousins. Same last name. Let me look at the practice squad. Marlon Tuipulotu. He's on the 53. Let's go streaking. No, thank you. I don't want to go to jail. Somebody said something about the Lee Summit Police Department. Yeah, my neighbor is a police officer. So I'm good. Dave said, yeah, Lee Summit Police Department would love that. Second place said, I just joined and Cole's talking about streaking. Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't think they're going to make a wide receiver move that would make us do anything drastic like that. When does Pop return? There's not like a for sure return. He had surgery in September, and they said about a 6 to 8 week recovery time before he could come back. Now, here's the thing. He's walking on a treadmill. He posted that recently. We need to see him running and then making some cuts to really show he's progressing through that broken fibula. Was it fibula or tibia? It's one of those two. Yeah, Hunter Renfrow is not retired, but he's still a free agent, and I don't know what's up with that. Jody Fortson could run Rice's routes. I mean, maybe. But, I feel like you need just a little bit more of a twitchy guy. I don't mind Jody Fortson at all. I think you can use him in some niche packages, heavy tight end sets, some red zone stuff. I think you can. He is a converted wide receiver, don't get me wrong, but I think you need a guy a little bit quicker to have in the slot there. I could be wrong, but Tyler Lockett or Calvin Ridley would be nice. Yeah, Calvin Ridley just signed a massive contract, though, so that's a little bit of the problem with him. Tyler Lockett, I don't know his contract situation. He's healthy, though. 31, I think. He's a 31-year-old guy, so they're Veach would never trade for him. I mean, he's been pretty healthy. I I don't think he's been on the injury report recently. That's DK Metcalf with an MCL sprain. Lockett's been pretty healthy, but I think as long as like the Seahawks are somewhat in playoff contention, I don't know why you would sell. So I don't think that happens, but dude, I would like it. Marcus, thanks again for the 2-bomb, bro. First super on a live stream. Appreciate that a ton. Yeah, Ridley is expensive trash. Well, he's definitely expensive. It hurts no. Yeah. I talked about that, Jay. I already answered that, actually. Your exact comment, I talked about it earlier. D-Hop would open up my grandma. I didn't know where you were going with this comment, dude, so I had to keep reading it before I finish the sentence, dude, and make her look like a great receiver. You know, just the double teams will be worth his bag. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'm concerned with right now about DeAndre Hopkins is, I don't know if this is legit or not, but he's supposedly reportedly dealing with soreness in his calf/Achilles area, and that freaking terrifies me. Now, could DeAndre Hopkins be like, I'm so sick of this team, my calf hurts, I'm done, I can't practice right now? Yeah, but if it's real, I am legitimately concerned. Could you imagine trading for D-Hop and he tears his Achilles? Like, that terrifies me. So, obviously, I hope that report's not true. Yeah, Sean said, nah, way too many Achilles going around to be grabbing him then. That's what I'm saying. If that's true, if he's really dealing with soreness right now in his calf/Achilles area, that's a big red flag to me. Like, no thank you. Yeah, Kupp is an option. We talked about him a couple times in this live stream. I mean, I don't think you give a second-round pickup for him, but he's a 31-year-old guy that's missed 16 games over the last 3 years, and he's still kind of on an expensive contract. Wouldn't cost a ton this year. You could get him. You'd have to restructure somebody. And then the Rams are reportedly willing to take on some of his salary for this year. So maybe you get him for $4 million instead of $8 million. But you still they want a second-round pick, dude. I don't think you're getting that. Casey Dog back with the 5. First round, AFC playoffs. Number 3 Texans knock out the number 6 Broncos. The number 5 Steelers knock the number 2 Ravens. Number 4 Colts knock the number 3 Bills. We get a bye week. Yeah, I know I'm early. So you're saying then in the divisional round, it would be the Texans, Steelers, Colts, and Chiefs as the final 4 in the AFC. And that would be Chiefs playing the Steelers and the Texans playing the Colts. It would be Steelers at Arrowhead. I think I would take that. Like, they're a scary team right now. Projectedly so even more if Russell Wilson keeps playing well. I like, though, the Steelers coming into Arrowhead. Like, I like that matchup. I think the Chiefs could win it. It would be a tough one, though. That's a fun one. Have you thought about double streaming with Twitch, Cole? Somebody's talked to me about that before. Multi-streaming, like stream on Facebook. A lot of people do it. I see them do it. They're streaming on Facebook. They're streaming on Twitter. They're streaming on Twitch. I mean, as of right now, this sounds bad, but I don't really mean it bad. I just don't really know how to capitalize monetarily when I'm doing the multi-streams. Like, right now, I do it on YouTube and everybody comes here. And again, I don't do what I do just for the money, but it is my job. So I know right now, I understand YouTube. I understand the algorithm. I understand how money works on here through AdSense. And then obviously we have memberships and all that stuff on here too. Like, I understand how that works. I do not know that and how that works on any other platform at all. And yeah, so I've never bothered with it. What I have thought about doing though is like a once a week podcast where it would be video podcast available here on YouTube as well. It's an extra video a week, but it also goes out on every other audio form. So, because there's people saying, hey, Cole, I really wish I could get your audio of your videos and like your long form Q&As and stuff like that. Well, what if I did a once a week podcast recapping, covering all Chiefs news and putting that out on all audio platforms as well? That's a thought I've had, but it wouldn't necessarily be double dipping onto Twitch per se. Is Snead doing anything in the Titans? I don't know. If you look at his stats, like, they don't pop out, but I think he's had some PBUs and I think he's had some sticky coverage. He's not highly graded on PFF, but he wasn't last year either per se. I don't believe. Like, it's just he plays super aggressive. Some of it's a scheme thing and the Titans, like, their offense is so bad, their defense is always out there. Yeah, I wouldn't read too much into the Snead stuff right now because that team is just not great at this point in time. Their defense is better. Ari said Twitch ads are really annoying compared to YouTube. That's another thing. Like, I know where there's YouTube ads on here, but like, you could skip most of them after 5 seconds. I've been on Twitch to watch streamers, and I have to watch a 60-second ad. Sometimes more than one. I'm like, this is freaking crazy, dude. Do a podcast when you can? Okay. Yeah, I've been thinking about it. Cole, as a dude, you'd get a bonus on Twitch if you wore a... What? Well, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing all that. Ever try and trim your beard while drinking? Don't. No, I ain't trimming my beard while drinking. Heck no, that's a crazy idea. Tampa may be looking hard at wide receiver competition. Yeah, I mean, you've got Chris Godwin out for the season. Mike Evans out till week 11 or week 12. And the Tampa Bay Bucks, I think, are still leading their division. So they're still in contention to make a playoff run. So they could be buyers as well, or potential in the market for a receiver before the trade deadline. KC with the 5-bomb. Really hope the injury bug stops. Yes, please. You can only have so many until you just can't perform high enough with them out due to injuries. Let's get those Raiders on Sunday. No, I feel you, KC. Like, yeah, you can only lose. Like, look at some of the teams who like were good to start the year. I mean, Saints are one, and so are the Rams. Like, they had pretty decent rosters, and they're just absolutely torched by unfortunate injury after unfortunate injury, and it really sucks. But here's one thing the Chiefs have to their advantage. I've talked about this several times to some extent. The Chiefs have arguably probably the best, most rounded, experienced coaching staff, like as a whole, in the NFL. You want to argue another team into the mix, okay, that's fine. But I'm talking about from Andy Reid as the offensive guy, Andy Heck, the O-line coach, the tight ends coach, is it Tom Melvin? I can't remember his name, but he's super experienced. Dave Tobe is one of the best special teams coordinators out there. Coach Spags, one of the best, if not the best, defensive coordinator in the game. Dave Merritt, one of the best defensive backs coach in the entire NFL. Like, there's other coaches I'm proud of. Joe Cullen, he used to be a DC. He's the D-line coach. He's very good. Been a D-line coach for 2+ decades, maybe 3 decades. Like, if you look at the Chiefs' coaching staff as a whole, one of the most underrated things about them, in my opinion, is they are the ones that are going to be able to get the best out of players when others go down to injury. So they're like, okay, well, we're going to put this player here. That's his strength. Like, they have just high IQ, and they're just very smart, intelligent, well-rounded and cohesive, like, of a coaching staff. And they're going to be able to put these players that have to rise up, whether it's rookies, undrafted guys, like, in spots to fill holes. Now, there are certain players on the team that would just, if they got injured, it's a huge loss and you can't do anything about it. I get that. I'm not saying that everybody is replaceable on the team, because frankly, there's just some guys, I don't even want to say names because I don't want to speak that out. But there's just some names on the roster, if they get hurt, I mean, you're in trouble. But like, if anybody can figure it out, it's going to be the Chiefs and their coaching staff, just with the experience and how great they are from top to bottom. Yeah, great cohesion. Sneed's listed as questionable, really. You love the vids? Thank you, Anonymous. Appreciate that. Shout out. What up, Andrew? Everyone is getting hurt because those fields are so shit. They really need to change them. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. Like, the NFL makes so much money. Like, you should figure out a way for every single field to be grass. You should outlaw turf. I don't care. You try to do the research on hybrid turf and all that. Like, dude, just get rid of turf. Figure it out, dude. Figure out how to have grass fields and have it be as safe for the players as humanly possible. You make billions of dollars. Like, let's figure it out. I'm with you there. Juan Thornhill coming back, since Cleveland is going to be dumping all their players. I feel like Juan's been hurt. I don't know his contract details, and I don't know. I just look at the safety room, and no disrespect to Juan Thornhill, but like, I feel like our safety room's fine. Brian Cook, Justin Reed. You got Jaden Hicks, who can get in the mix. You got Chamari Connor playing in slot safety or slot corner position. Like, I don't know that you need him at this point in time. Now, if a couple of those guys got hurt, my opinion would change. Jude said, love the vids, don't stop. Heck yeah, man. We're going to keep going. Appreciate the kind words. I don't care what needs to happen. Turf needs to go. I think most of us are in agreement of that. Most NFL players would be in agreement with that too. MVS signed with the Saints. What do you think about that? Yeah, Jude, I mean, they needed a deep threat guy. Rashid Shaheed was that guy. And he's out for the season with a meniscus repair, similar to like J.J. McCarthy with the Vikings, their rookie quarterback. Yeah, he's out for the year, so you need a deep threat guy. And MVS can do it. He's not as effective as Rashid Shaheed, obviously. But yeah, I don't mind it at all. The NFL needs to reevaluate the rules, said Darrell with the 5. These are all too common season-ending injuries, and that's not okay. Yeah, there's been a bunch this year. I feel like we say that every year, but every year it happens, and it's rather unfortunate. You know, I hate injuries. I'll talk about this one. Like, the Deshaun Watson injury to me was still unfortunate. I don't wish injuries upon anybody. I still think it was like the most non-responsive I've been about an injury. Like, I didn't celebrate the injury, but when Deshaun Watson when he got hurt and he tore his Achilles, I was kind of just like, ooh, you know, and like next man up for them. That's the only one where I was like not completely devastated. And like, don't get me wrong, I wish the best for him. I hope he recovers, like all that stuff. But just with everything going on, with all that he went through, all the allegations, all the settlements, like, dude, I just have a hard time rooting for that guy. And you could say what you want to me about that. That's just kind of my opinion. Maybe that's wrong or right. But when that injury hit, I mean, it sucked, but I was kind of like, everybody else that's ever been injured, every time, I'm like, God, that freaking sucks. You know, and like, there's other guys in the NFL. That's where I'm like, I didn't really want to bring it up, but there's other guys in the NFL that don't have a perfect pass and they've gotten passed and they've gotten hurt too. So it's like, it's kind of a gray area with that. But like, I hate injuries. All that to say, I hate injuries. Doesn't really matter who it is 99.9% of the time. Yeah, he's getting paid anyway, fully guaranteed contract. And it's not like, here's the thing, it's not like Deshaun Watson pulled a Damar Hamlin out there. Like, he didn't die. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's a season-ending injury. He's going to have to come back from it. But like, it's proven you could successfully recover and return from that. So it's not like the end of the world, right? But yeah, so he's also getting a fully guaranteed salary. Now, some of that, he loses a little bit because of the injury thing, but whatever. We don't need to talk about the Browns here too much, but just injuries suck, man. And I don't wish it on anyone. What's crazy is after Deshaun Watson left with injury, the backup quarterback, Dorian Thompson, I'm probably saying his name wrong, he was the backup and he got hurt. Jameis Winston was the third emergency quarterback, and he had to go in and play. And that's why Bailey Zappi is no longer a Kansas City Chief. He's signed to the Browns roster. They lost 2 quarterbacks in that game. All right. Brand with the 5. Consider the hip drop tackle causes its own issue with injuries, but after banning it, everyone's, trying to tackle differently with emphasis, injuries up. Yeah, I would have to, like, Brand, I don't know. Like, I'd have to look into that and do some research of, like, are the injuries that are taking place is that happening because these defenders are trying to tackle in other weird ways, and that's leading to injuries? Last year, they banned the swivel hip drop tackle in particular, because of the injuries it was causing. So, yeah, that's a tough one, and I don't know off the top of my head. I would have to research it, but it's a great question. One, like, food for thought there with the 5 bomb. Appreciate you, man. Hannah with the 2. Guess who's now interested in Kupp? The 49ers. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's like an official report, but like, just like outside looking in, you've got no Ayuk now for the year. They might be interested in a receiver. I would be surprised. I would think the Rams would want to trade Cooper Kupp over to an AFC team over an NFC team. But yeah, they could certainly be on the market for a wide receiver with, I don't know if you guys saw that, but Brandon Ayuk, he got hurt in the Chiefs game. I don't know if you saw the report after, but he tore his ACL and his MCL. Has to get them both repaired. He can't have surgery till for a couple weeks either. Stylesy with the $7.99 Australian. What's up, bro? Thanks so much, man. So good to see you in here. Do you think the Chiefs live rent-free in the Raiders' heads 24/7 with the whole Kermit the Frog thing? I don't know about rent-free 24/7, but I do think they're so sick, like the whole fan base, the coaching staff, players, they're sick of the Chiefs, all the attention they get, then all the media attention with Mahomes, you got Kelsey with T-Swift. Like, I'm pretty sure they're sick of them, and they want nothing more than to beat them again, like every time that they play, right? They normally lose. They did beat them on Christmas. That's great. They're a rather dysfunctional team right now. But I do think the success of the Chiefs, them always seeing them in primetime games, they're a division rival. So rivals in quotes right now, because they're not very rivalry-ish, just from a level of play standpoint, even though, again, they did beat the Chiefs on Christmas. Much respect to them for pulling that off. But yeah, I think the Chiefs are probably often on their minds, for sure. Yes, people watch today's Cole Breaks the Huddle for all Week 7 stories plus all injuries. Yeah, if you want a 24-minute deep dive into all the surprising standout performances, storylines, all that from almost every single game over the weekend, go to my other channel, my NFL channel, Cole Breaks the Huddle. And we just dropped a video on there this evening covering all that. It took a lot of work, so feel free to check it out if you want. And with that, I will definitely see you guys next time after this. Matt with the 2 said the entire NFL is sick of the Chiefs. That's very true. It's not just the Broncos, or the Raiders or the Chargers, even though I think that is true because of the division rival thing. But yeah, the entire NFL, dude. Like, here's the thing. We don't have to get into it very long, but like Mahomes' 33-yard scramble up the left side, that was a whole breakdown, meltdown, outcry on every single social media because, everybody's afraid to hit Mahomes and get fined. Dude, if that was any other quarterback, nobody would even care. And what you don't see in the broadcast, or at least in the main angles, you're not seeing Kareem Hunt blocking a couple of those guys, and then another guy just lack of urgency to chase Mahomes down, like just not get there. So it was partially in credit to Mahomes' mobility, partially in credit to Kareem Hunt blocking 2 dudes. And like, it's not, Mahomes didn't just like fake like he was going to run out of bounds. I think he thought he was going to go run out of bounds. Kareem Hunt pushed one of the guys in pursuit, and he over pursued Mahomes because of it. Mahomes saw that over pursuit and took off down the left sideline. Like, if that's any other quarterback, nobody's pissing, whining, and moaning, complaining about it. It's just the Chiefs own the league. They've ran the league since 2018, and people are sick of it. I don't necessarily blame them, but I'm a Chiefs fan, so I'm enjoying it. We all hated the Patriots. We hated the Patriots winning. We wanted to see them lose every single week. We were sick of them in primetime. We were sick of seeing them in the playoffs. We were sick of seeing them raise Lombardi trophies. We were just sick of it. And that's what people are for the Chiefs right now. I feel like every day that goes by, I can like relate to Patriots fans just a little bit more. In our own way. Just because like every single day, every single game, whine, cry, ref this, mishold that. Like, dude, you guys are a bunch of pathetic, coddled toddlers, and it gets old. Not you guys, but them, everybody else. It just gets old, man. But yeah, I think the entire NFL is sick of the Chiefs indeed. Anyway, with that being said, you're probably sick of looking at my bald head and hearing me talk. Maybe some of you aren't, but I appreciate you guys hanging out. I'm going to call it a day. Thanks to everybody for holding it down. We had 800 or so in stream most of the night. It was always a lot of fun to talk Chiefs with you guys. I'm going to get off, maybe watch a little bit of Netflix, get ready for a long-form video tomorrow, talking Chiefs, Raiders. Thanks again for the dono bombs, the memberships, the questions, the mods holding it down. I appreciate y'all more than you know. So until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go.